So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Addressing Dimensions of Wellness After a Brain Injury, the New Normal. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kim Myers, and I'm a community outreach specialist at the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. The Alliance is a nonprofit organization with a mission to provide education, awareness, prevention strategies, advocacy, and support for those who have been affected by brain injury. So I would like to announce that we will be hosting another webinar on April 25th, 2023 on the topic of how communication and advocacy matter in brain injury recovery. More details will be coming in the next few weeks, so you can stay tuned about this if you'd like to learn more. Now, just a few housekeeping notes before we can begin the presentation. Attendees' microphones have been muted, so if you have any questions during today's webinar, please type them in the QA box, and we will get to as many questions as we can at the end of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded and it will be available for viewing on the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey website. At the end of the webinar, a link for a post-webinar survey will be placed in the chat. We value your feedback, so you are encouraged to complete this survey, and you must complete the survey in order to receive a certificate of attendance. And once you complete the survey, you will automatically receive your certificate of attendance in your email. So without further ado, our presenter for today's webinar is Devin Tapp. Devin Tapp is a health education professional located in South Jersey, skilled in health behaviors, disability wellness, community engagement, and global health. Devin is the director of HOPE, which stands for Health Outreach, Promotion, and Education at Stockton University. Devin previously worked at NYU Langone Health Department of Neurology and at the National Football League as well. Devin was introduced to Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey in 2020 when she sustained a brain injury and found great use in Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey's resources. Devin is passionate about promoting health and wellness among those who have a disability and those who have sustained a brain injury. Devin is currently a doctorate student at Thomas Jefferson University, focusing on enhancing access to health resources within different populations. So I'm very pleased to welcome Devin Tapp.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Hopefully I got this right this time. Okay. All right, can you see the screen? Great, awesome. All right, well, hi everyone. Again, my name is Devin Tapp. Thank you all for joining this webinar today. Today, again, we will be discussing and addressing different dimensions of wellness and what that looks like after a brain injury. Again, the aim of this presentation is to provide some resources, some insight, and some tools for utilizing different areas of wellness on a day-to-day basis. In addition, the aim of this as well is to, again, provide you enough information to be active contributors on your wellness and health journey. So let's get into it. Did that work? Okay. So again, a little bit about me. Again, it was just mentioned by Kim, so I will not go through all this entirely. But again, currently, I work at Stockton University in health and wellness. And have previously worked again in New York City for NYU Langone Health, Front of Neurology, the National Football League. And then I've also worked abroad as a global rehabilitation assistant, working with individuals with disability, working on different health behaviors and again, initiatives. And again, more specifically, I worked in Vietnam and Peru. I want to share, again, it's a photo of me on the right hand. This was a photo of me about 2 months after obtaining a brain injury. I want to share this as well as we go forward with health and wellness. Again, as most of you all know on this call, that, many may consider a brain injury an invisible disability. It's not like someone who breaks their arm and someone can just see, like, okay, this person has a broken arm, they can't, play a certain sport because this is the reason why. So when we think about health and wellness, we're also going to think about it, again, at the individual level to kind of acknowledge, again, what capacity can we participate in some behaviors going forward. And again, this may look a lot different from what this was previously before obtaining a brain injury. So something to think about as we go forward. So then also, as mentioned, so I sustained a brain injury, I guess back in the very beginning of 2020. And again, some of my hobbies and health behaviors changed a bit based on, again, the injury. So again, I want to mention my current and new hobbies consisted of photography, elliptical, cooking, walking, and reading. So I wanted to, again, open this up to the group. What does wellness mean to you? Obviously there are different areas of wellness. And I'm curious as well, everyone's knowledge and background, and again, what this means to them. So feel free to write a few words, sentences in the chat. We'll take a little bit of time to just look through everyone's thoughts on what wellness encompasses. So the one says self-care. Thank you, Suzanne. General feeling of well-being in mind, body, and soul. That's great. Engaging in desired activities to make you feel good about yourself. That's also, again, we'll talk more about that, going forward. And from Jenna, wellness is not only the absence of sickness, but the presence of health as well. Again, great sentence. Again, we will talk more into that as well when we look at different areas of wellness. And and even from Marcelo, we see we have a lot of positivity and a lot of appreciation for life. Again, it's great. And to do therapy, balance, to be high functioning. But again, I think the last comment on here as well is that it looks different for everybody. And depending on, again, the capacity of participating in different health behaviors, this may, again, look different for everyone. So again, thank you guys for, again, your comments on what wellness may encompass inside your life. Going forward, if that worked. So this is a word cloud of wellness. So I wanted to share this word cloud because it encompasses a lot of different areas of wellness. Many people think of wellness as just physical wellness. So, physical activity, exercise, but there are a lot of other areas as well. You have environmental wellness, emotional wellness, occupational wellness, financial wellness. And again, all these different areas will encompass wellness. And something to think about as well is that wellness really touches every area of your life, whether you realize it or not. So it's really important to, again, manage your wellness and find different ways to, again, incorporate that on a day-to-day basis. So going forward, not just a question to think about as we go through these different areas of wellness, just to reflect on why, again, is wellness important to you? Similar to the last question, but as we, again, move into looking at, again, these different dimensions, something just to continuously ask yourself, in what ways can we incorporate these, areas in our life? So moving on now to the different, dimensions of wellness. So the National Wellness Institute in 1976 created the 6 dimensions of wellness. These dimensions are now 8 dimensions from different organizations, but for time's sake today, we're only going to go through the original 6. So again, these dimensions consist of emotional wellness, occupational wellness, physical wellness, social wellness, intellectual wellness, and spiritual wellness. And so, yeah, we will go through every one of these 6. And again, talk about some examples of what that looks like and how you can incorporate these on a day-to-day basis. I'm also going to provide some questions after we talk about each area of wellness to just help with reflection on how you might, again, bring these into, your life, again, on a day-to-day basis. So the first area of wellness, and again, one of the most popular area of wellness is physical wellness. So this includes exercise, nutrition, flexibility, sleep. In addition, this also was mentioned in the chat as well, as taking care of yourself. So knowing when it's time to see a doctor, and again, making sure you're taking your medication and whatnot as well. It's also affiliated with education. So education around nutrition or what activities you can participate in, depending on, again, the capacity to participate in specific initiatives. And again, part of physical, wellness is important to, acknowledge is sleep. So again, ensuring that you're getting the right amount of sleep at night, but also ensuring that you're using the right tools to get the amount of sleep. So whether that is, again, reading before bed, medication, and ensuring that you are meeting some of these different areas to kind of balance that wellness related to physical wellness. So does anyone have any examples of how currently they're utilizing some of these different initiatives to promote their physical wellness? And it could be anything, not even on the screen as well. Anything, again, similar to physical wellness. Someone said aquatic therapy, that's awesome. Great one. That's something actually I got into post-brain injury. I started swimming a little bit. And again, it was a great way to promote physical wellness. Balance and coordination, that's also great. Taking a daily vitamin, trying 10 steps a day. Again, a great goal too. PT exercises as well. Yeah, and also again, part of physical wellness is again, making sure you're kind of adhering to again, PT and OT and ensuring again, even that flexibility point, if you have other injuries in addition to a brain injury, it's again, very important. And then we have yoga. Yeah, that's also a great one. And also I think with yoga as well, you have the capacity to participate in yoga, I guess at different levels too. So it's definitely a great option as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next area of wellness. Great. So we have emotional wellness. With emotional wellness, this is the acceptance and capacity to manage one's feelings. This is also understanding one's limitations. This will also be, again, the ability to cope effectively with stress. So with emotional wellness, some ways we might, I guess what I have done previously, one, this might be through practicing gratitude, having a gratitude journal, and this might be, again, through journaling through different emotions that are being felt. And also, again, something that has been what has been beneficial to me specifically is that I was in cognitive therapy for, again, managing emotions and feelings during a time where I was having difficulty managing them during my head injury. And ultimately that was affecting relationships with both myself and my family and friends. But that was again, another option that was again, very beneficial for myself trying to manage this. So again, I want to open it to the group again. What are some ways that you are working on or have worked to cope effectively with stress and understand limitations and accepting the position that you are in today or during that time? So you have meditating, again, a great one as well. Breathing techniques, mini breaks during stressful times. And so I'll also open it to the group as well. Does anyone have any experiences where you are participating in a stressful time and you're not, I guess, how do you navigate that? So again, if you're in a stressful time, let's say even with a group of people, how do you go about, trying to take time to get away during the time that seems difficult to do so? Self-love, poetry, and crafts. Great. Trauma therapy, support groups, Bible study, and prayer, also great. Okay. And again, we will continue to talk about this further, but a lot of these areas of wellness will also overlap. So again, we might see different activities within emotional wellness that promote emotional wellness, but we also might see this in other areas of wellness, which we're going to get to as well. So I'm definitely seeing some examples and experiences that we can definitely kind of utilize in these other areas of wellness as well, which is great. So then let's move on to the next one. If my clicker worked. Okay. So we have social wellness. So this is going to be contributing to one's environment and community, aware of your importance in society, enhancing relationships. And here I want to emphasize the Brain Injury Alliance's support groups. This was something that I utilized quite a bit again, when I was, trying to maintain relationships and talk to people who were in similar situations to myself. And again, attending those sessions, again, they were online at the time, they might still be now, were again very helpful with trying to find a community within a population that was also experiencing similar feelings and experiences to whatever capacity that may look like. And in addition to social, again, this is ensuring that you are trying to maintain relationships with friends and family, but also ensuring that friends and family are able to acknowledge the situation that you are currently experiencing. And so whether that is having conversations around this is what I'm experiencing at the moment. This is how I can best communicate right now. Obviously, social component can be a little bit challenging. Again, from a personal experience, this was likely the biggest area of wellness that I struggled with quite a bit. At least, again, I found it quite isolating with having a brain injury and trying to tell people how you were feeling and what you can do and can't do. So again, with the support group with the Brain Injury Alliance, that was really helpful in trying to acknowledge what that looked like. So again, opening up to the group, what are some examples of how you try to promote social wellness on a day-to-day basis? Oh, the chat is open now. Okay, I'll look at both of these. Okay, so we have reached out and text or call friends or family. It's a great one, especially let's say if you aren't able to feel that you aren't able to be there physically. Another comment about the support groups being a blessing. They're again fantastic. Again, I've really benefited from those a lot as well, and it seems like a lot of people in here have as well. Talk to friends, neighbors, and coworkers. And yeah, and again, I think all these are great ideas as well. And even during COVID, obviously it's even, at least with my brain injury, I, again, was going through treatment and therapy during COVID, which made it a little bit more challenging to keep those relationships, again, at least with social wellness. So of course, with, Zoom and all these different online things as well, it's been definitely really helpful trying to maintain relationships and friends. And a few more in the chat as well. So we have support groups have helped make folks realize they're not alone in this. Again, that is great, Peter. Again, that's exactly, again, was my takeaway from those support groups as well. It's really great to feel like you have a community. Opening up to very close friends, again, it's great. I think that can be challenging for many individuals, but again, it's really definitely a great way to, again, just make those relationships with close friends. Reach out to understanding individuals, great. And thank you for the information, Marcelo. Great, awesome. So let us move on to the next one. So next one is intellectual wellness. So this is expanding knowledge and skills. This is also associated with problem solving, intellectual curiosity, and also this does not necessarily take place beyond or in the classroom. This can be in the community. This can be, again, with different groups, but more or less any, I guess, experience or event where you're able to kind of promote your intellectual curiosity. And that means, again, participating in different, events and behaviors and experiences that will, again, allow you to think outside the box. Again, that's probably a good way to think about it. And that's also promoting, again, this additional knowledge and skills. So again, for me, one of the things that I tried to promote intellectual wellness with, again, when I was going through therapy and whatnot, was painting. So something that I got really into was trying to learn how to paint nature. So I thought that was actually a very relaxing, I guess, way for me to learn a new skill, but also, again, feel a little bit more relaxed and at peace doing an activity that was relatively easy for me at the time to complete. And then again, so anyone have any examples of how they might promote their own intellectual wellness? Let's see. So someone said that learning is the best cognitive rehab there is. It's great. Puzzles, that's also a great example. Puzzles are definitely a great way to promote intellectual curiosity and intellectual development. We have, let's see, daily crosswords, also a great one. And in addition to, as well, intellectual wellness, again, based on capacity, a really good option as well is audiobooks and reading. Again, I was very much a big audiobook person. Was, again, very, very helpful. Some volunteer work, it's also great. I'm also seeing, again, some musical instruments, again, bagpipes and the accordion. That is great, Ernie. Very, very impressive. Consonant therapy, AAP. Awesome, Scrabble. Okay, great. Again, some great ideas. And then we're moving on to spiritual. So spiritual consists of, again, the development of deep appreciation of life, a strong sense of personal values, and also this may consist of gratitude. I think we talked a little bit briefly, someone mentioned, again, gratitude and journaling for emotional wellness. As we see here, maybe this also falls under some areas of spiritual wellness. Someone mentioned as well, practicing religion, praying has also been a big part of spiritual wellness. And there are definitely, again, a few different ways that we can potentially promote this area as well. And again, they definitely overlap somewhat, again, just a mix of all these different areas of wellness. So anyone have any examples of how they have promoted spiritual wellness in their life? We have prayer, Reiki, it's also great. And I think back about yoga. We could also potentially fall under spiritual, spiritual wellness. Meditation, again, another great one. Bible study. You have brain injury, Bible study as well. Great resource. Tai Chi, that's also great. Journaling as well. Nature walks. That is also a great idea too. There's definitely a fair amount of research around, again, promoting a deeper sense of appreciation for life, again, through walking through nature and, again, experiencing, again, these different events going on around you outside. Okay. All I'm saying right now, okay, great. So let us move on to the last one. So this is the last area we're going to talk about today, and this is occupational wellness. So this is, again, personal satisfaction and enrichment through work. This is also occupational development. This also may consist of personal performance. The aim, again, of this specific area of wellness is to ensure that, again, you are contributing, again, your skills, your talents in a way that is both meaningful and rewarding to yourself and as well as the place you're working. And again, especially with occupational, this may look different, before a brain injury and after a brain injury, and what skills you want to work on or produce, and what areas of work that you would be even potentially working in. And I think this is an area as well that was quite important, again, for me. I'm trying to work through and try to navigate, like, what are the new skills that I am capable of producing within a work environment? And again, what areas would I potentially thrive in, given situations that happened previously? So again, for the last one, anyone have any, again, examples of how they try to promote occupational wellness in their lives? Let's see. Okay, volunteering, again, that's a great one. Gardening, okay. And again, I can think of gardening as well, kind of going into different areas of wellness too, you know, whether that is, again, the emotional wellness, find different activities, intellectual wellness, educate others about TBI. Again, that's great, Marianne. Also, yeah, not being afraid to try new things. That's also, yeah, a great point, Valerie. And then that's also, again, looking at was written by Emily as well, you know, asking managers if you can be a part of projects that highlight personal skills and preferences. And I think that's also a good idea to get involved in organizations and to make a difference too. And even Peter makes a good point as well, that volunteering provides a great opportunity to, again, understand, you know, what areas that you can excel in and what areas you also very much might enjoy. Okay, awesome. Okay. Does that work? Okay. So again, putting it all together. So I want to emphasize that one, everyone's wellness journey is different. As we're seeing in the chat, everyone has different ideas to promote different areas of wellness. Some individuals, again, may lean towards more, I guess, one area more than another. And again, that is totally fine. And again, the aim of this overall 6 months of wellness is to promote a balanced well-being, but there is no way, there is no specific balance of these 6 that one is anticipated to have. So for example, if one person had more balance or had more, needed more promotion around social wellness instead of intellectual wellness, one may focus more on that, depending on, again, what is needed. And again, the capacity of the person who is trying to work on these different health initiatives. And then I also wanted to share a few images of my experience trying to work through some areas of wellness during a time that was really challenging for me. Again, right, pretty soon after I was diagnosed with a brain injury. And I did go through every 6 areas of wellness during my time because I really wanted to promote my health and well-being. And then this was something I was really passionate about. So I want to share some photos with you guys. Some of these are a little scary. I apologize. You have me in a face mask in the upper right-hand corner. That is my boyfriend and I trying to work on self-care. I was having a pretty stressful week with PT and whatnot. And just for, I guess, under emotional wellness, I wanted to take some time just to do some self-care. And of course, we got some face masks and we're trying to, again, just relax a little bit. On the left, upper left corner, that's my little brother. We were able to take a few walks, again, to nature. Again, trying to also promote a little bit more intellectual wellness around, you know, learning more about what was, again, our surroundings. In addition, tried to cook. So those are cookies right there, if you can tell. They don't look very good. So again, I wasn't very successful in my cooking career, but I wanted to, again, learn a different tool and again, a different area that I could potentially do and participate in. I also tried to learn how to do henna. So that's what you see inside the lower left corner. I thought it was a good idea to, you know, try to be more artistic during a time where I wasn't able to be do a lot of activities around the computer, as well as just physical wellness. And then in addition to henna, I tried to learn how to tie-dye clothes. Again, was trying a lot of different things to see what areas of wellness I would potentially benefit from kind of maintaining as a habit. In addition, other than everything that was mentioned, again, started reading a bit once I was capable of doing so. And then lastly, like I mentioned, I tried to start drawing and painting different nature or different nature environments to promote, again, these different areas of wellness. So as you can see here, there are many different ways to promote wellness, especially in your own life, depending on what works best for you. And again, I want to keep on reiterating that there is no certain way to go about promoting these different areas of wellness. There's definitely a lot of great examples, but again, doesn't mean that all these work for everyone. So again, just considering that, going forward as you start to, again, think about what areas of wellness that you will benefit from the most. And again, in addition, I'm very much into meditation. I use the app Calm quite often. I want to leave you guys with this quote. I'm not fully healed. I'm not fully wise. I am still on my way. What matters is that I am moving forward. And again, this actually very much spoke to me. And again, I hope this speaks to you as well. As again, this is a process. There's not everything changes in one day, but making these little strides towards, again, overall healthier well-being will ultimately help in the long run. So again, thank you guys so much. It's been great speaking with you all. I'm excited to, again, take any questions. I can definitely provide my contact information as well for any additional questions after this. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Devin, for that informative presentation. We will be taking questions now, so whoever wants to put questions in the Q&A, I can read them and try to get them answered. I see one from an attendee. It says, for people early on in their recovery, but where formal therapies have ended, how do you stay motivated to do continuing exercises recommended by healthcare professionals? Alternatively, how do you see the value?
It's a great question. So to answer, again, the first part of this question, let me just review it again. So at least, again, one way you potentially stay motivated is having an accountability buddy. This is something that I have used in the past, and it doesn't have to be someone with a brain injury. This could be, for example, this was actually my little brother. So he was, I guess, there and checking in on me certain days that I would have it completed. You can also even use like an incentive method if that was the case too. Completing these activities or after completing these different exercises, I will participate in another behavior or something like that. But also, I think when you promote these other larger areas of wellness, hopefully again through, let's say, spiritual wellness, you may also acknowledge that participating in these exercises will again promote your likelihood of to whatever extent recovery from, let's say, the injury. But I can definitely acknowledge that it can be challenging to keep up with exercises and whatnot. But at least again, in my case, again, just using that accountability, and whether that is through support groups, through Brain Injury Alliance, or just with a family or friend, that has definitely been and then very valuable to me, as well as, again, from what I can see in the chat as well, the support groups have definitely provided some sort of support around, again, promoting these different exercises.
And we have another question from another attendee. They asked, how do you relate to differences in experiences versus a new survivor at a support group? So I assume this is referring to the fact that some people have been survivor for longer than others, and how kind of do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, and I think, just speaking on behalf of what was mentioned previously, that, when we mentioned that everyone's wellness path is different, and people are at different stages, and I do think, again, it's really important to kind of acknowledge that, again, when you kind of review and kind of create like what this wellness journey may look like for you. I know, at least from personal experience, that relate to differences versus at least, again, I cannot talk on behalf of the support group because I know they have a really great team who is, I guess, managing the support groups. But I know that the team, again, that is, I guess, leading those support groups as well, ensure to kind of bridge those gaps between those who are, again, newly a new survivor compared to those who have sustained a brain injury for some time and are still working through some of those different challenges. And so I think the point of the support groups as well is to, again, promote a sense of community. So let's say that, you know, you have someone there who has been through what you've been through, and they can actually acknowledge the way you're feeling, and also even potentially even give you some tips for, you know, getting through certain situations. So I think that, again, the biggest part of the support group, regardless if you're, again, a new survivor or not, is a sense of support and community that you have, knowing that everyone will be at different levels within those groups.
And someone had asked what association you are from. So again, Devin is a health education professional, works at, or she's the director of HOPE, which is Health Education Promotion and Education at Stockton University. And I am from the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. Thank you for that question. And let's see, someone asked the author of the book in the previous slide. Do you know?
Slide. So the previous slide was actually from an application on the phone. So this is from the app Calm. So, and I guess on this app Calm, you can participate in meditations, even some, I guess, ranging from meditations for emotional wellness. You even have some sleep meditations. It's a really good opportunity to, again, I started using Calm when pretty quickly after I sustained my brain injury. So this is just a slide and an image that is seen on that application.
Perfect, thank you. Mm-hmm. And someone else asked, where do you go for family counseling to get help explaining things to your loved ones who are not understanding what you are going through? I have not been able to find anything through my insurance that is something Brain Injury Alliance or group can support. So is there any suggestions for family counseling, how to get your family to understand what you may be going through and the differences that you may be facing?
I think this is a great question. I think, again, just from my background being a health education specialist, I think someone better to answer that question is, again, some individuals, if you contact Brain Injury Alliance, they likely have some resources for you for, again, where to go for family counseling. This is not something I have necessarily experience with, so I don't want to talk on behalf of it. And again, Barbara Chabner, who's on the call as well, is likely a great point person to kind of guide you and where to go for that. I see her typing now.
You know what, I'll just unmute myself for a second rather than type it in. So Suzanne, I don't know if you currently are connected with the BIANJ CARES program, but we have our CARES care management program, and that would be one resource I think that would be available that could work with you and family members to try to connect you. Also, if you call our, either through CARES or if you call our information and resources helpline, they may be able to recommend some therapists or some professionals that you could speak with. So I think, reach out to BIANJ and we'll try to connect you with appropriate resources.
Absolutely. Thank you for adding that, Barbara. Okay, let's see, any more questions? I'm not seeing any additional in the chat, but if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will do our best to answer.
I'm seeing at least in the chat, I know someone asked about getting copies of the PowerPoint. And I think this is for Kim, but I believe that there will be a PDF provided for those who are interested.
I believe there should be a PDF provided. Can you speak more to this, Barbara, before sending a PDF out?
Yes. What we do is within the next couple of days, we will send out a follow-up email to everybody that registered. And so that includes those of you that are on the webinar right now, as well as people that registered and were not able to actually log on. And that email will include a PDF of the slides, and also it will include a link to the recording of the webinar. The webinar will be placed either on our website, the BIANJ website, or the BIANJ YouTube channel. So it will be out there and accessible to people, but we will also include it in the link to it in this email, along with the PDF on the slides.
Great, thank you for answering that, Barbara. And someone asked, what are the other wellness components not discussed? The other two that make up the now 8 dimensions?
Yes, so the other two, one is environmental. So this is going to be looking at your environment. This may be like within the household, or this might also look like outside, So for example, I think previously in another discussion I had with disability, we talked about I guess environmental wellness. We talked about sidewalks and having ability to utilize sidewalks, and let's say even like nearby parks for exercise and whatnot. So that's kind of the area of environmental wellness. And then the other area of wellness that was also added was financial wellness. So again, this looks at budgeting money, as well as how to allocate money in different ways. And so yeah, those other two.
I want to just add, sorry for hopping in here, and we can continue the discussion. I do just want to let people know that the post-webinar survey has been placed in the chat. So everybody who is interested in receiving a certificate of attendance for the webinar should go to the survey and fill it out. Even if you don't want a certificate, please fill it out, but just, kind of want to remind people about that.
Thanks, Barbara.
And someone else asked, are you familiar with Love Your Brain Yoga? So I believe we have worked with Love Your Brain Yoga in the past. They're a fantastic organization focused on neurological healing while doing yoga, which is a great pairing. It's definitely very helpful for brain injury rehabilitation. So thank you for mentioning that. It's a great organization. And like I said, I believe we have done work with them in the past. Are there any other questions? Feel free to put them either in the chat or the Q&A.
And if any other questions do come up, I can definitely provide my email as well if anyone wants to follow up about anything.
Thank you, Devin.
And then, yeah, someone asked about replaying this session.
Yes, so when we send out the link to the PDF files of the slides, we will also send out a link of the recording so that you'll be able to replay it and review as needed as well.
I just sent my email out as well.
Great, thank you. And one last call for questions, anyone? Otherwise, you can feel free to reach out to Devin or to my email, which I can also put in the chat, about any questions regarding the presentation or regarding Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey's services. And I'll put that in right now. So thank you again for sharing your expertise with us today, Devin. If your question was not answered today to any of the participants, again, you can email me at the email I provided in the chat, which is kmyers@bianj.org, or you can email Devin at the email that she provided in the chat as well. And I will try to have our presenters answer it, or if it's something about Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey, I can answer it. One final reminder to please complete the post-webinar survey. So the link can be found in the chat. You will automatically receive a certificate of attendance via email once you complete this survey. And thank you again for attending and for all of the thoughtful questions and the comments and the audience participation as well. We hope to see you at the April 25th webinar, and this concludes today's webinar. Thank you again for all who attended. And thank you, Devin, for presenting. That was very informative.
Of course, yeah. Thank you guys all for attending. I really do appreciate it.
We'll leave it open just for a few minutes, just for whoever needs to access the survey link.
Sounds good.
Okay, the surveys are coming in, so we'll give it a couple more minutes before we close it up.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
There was something in the Q&A, Kim, saying the best way to reach out is through Brain Injury Alliance website, CARES Management, correct?
So yes, if you're looking for the CARES management, absolutely reach out directly to the CARES management department, and then they'll be able to help you with whatever you're looking for. Absolutely.